shut up is a curse word, bro.
I mean, good.
You might want to check yourself.
Shut the whole.
Oh, wow.
I'm just saying, hey, they come up on some money. It's like, yo, we got some money. No, we gotta do the right thing and try to find the owner of this money. Like, God damn, mama, like we broke as shit. You know what I'm saying? You got me and you got me and JJ sleeping in the fold out couch in the front of the goddamn room. You know what I'm saying? Forever. JJ like 35. And but it's cool because your high sense of morality is there, and we've got Black Jesus still. And as long as Michael can still say he believes in Jesus, everything's cool.
This dude is like Richard Gere's character in Pretty Woman. He don't build jack. He just comes in and does what he does. There's a difference.
The show that gives you everything and nothing at all. That's everywhere you don't want to be. It's Ruben, Mo B, and on the ones and twos, AG.
The 5-minute warning.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ruben back in the house. Oh man, I am so glad to be here. Man, we've been gone for 2 weeks. So much has happened. And we'll get to a little bit today. But hey, unfortunately, AG will not be with us today, and Mo B will be with us shortly. So I guess you just got to deal with me until, Mo B show up. And then you can sit back and laugh at Mo B. So, I mean, it's been 2 weeks. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July. I know all the cookouts were just off the chain and stuff like that. Even the one I went to at my uncle's house was off the chain too. So shout out to anybody who had a cookout, who went to a cookout, or just felt like cooking out themselves, because even though, it's hotter than fish grease, it is time for cooking out. Yes, time like this, we should definitely be inside because it's 9 o'clock and nobody wants to be outside at 9 o'clock. But real talk, nobody wants to be outside at 1 o'clock either, depending on what's going on. So definitely, keep up all that. Summer's just, for some people, summer's just starting. For teachers, some people have been out for the last, 2-3 weeks. Others don't really get a summer off, so they got to take vacation and pay these high-ass prices to travel places. So, we got that. And of course, I would be remiss if I don't bring up, during this break, I celebrated the big 5-0. Yes, the boy with the baby face is 50. So shout out to me, because why the hell not? Shout me out. It's beautiful. 50 feels just like 49, and 49 felt like 48. However, we can't go back doing that too long, because in the grand scheme of things, eventually, 6 can't be like 5. But we're not going back that far. So, but shout out to everybody. Like I said, we've been gone for 2 weeks. We missed all of y'all. And we're back, We're back to start this off. And guess what? We're like 3 months away from 4 years. And we're 3 months away from number 200. Right now, as you can tell, we're on episode 185. Wow, 15 episodes puts us around the holidays, at least our holiday per se, which is in October. So October is going to be a little crazy for us, and we're excited. We're excited for y'all to be here. But once again, Mo B's running a little late, so I got some shit that I need to get off my chest. So first of all, the Supreme Court. I mean, really? Thanks for letting us know that you're not for the people. All right? Because all the stuff you do ain't for me. None of that shit's for me. That's for everybody else. Everybody getting paid. And look, man, normally I would never do this, and usually Mo B will be here, and we'll talk about it when he gets here. but I'm gonna take my time because Clarence Thomas, really dog, really. So you grew up and got everything for you, because hey, affirmative action worked for you, you know, because let's be real, there weren't a lot of black judges back in the day, much less thinking about the Supreme Court. I mean, and you up there and you want to take affirmative action from everybody. Now, look, some people will sit here and say, we don't need affirmative action. And I'll sit here and say, because in the grand scheme of things, if you take away affirmative action, you're sitting here and telling me that everything's a level playing field, which it ain't. Let's just be real. It ain't. And then on top of that, man, like you are you because of all this stuff. I mean, yeah, Moco Cowboy. I mean, I got to put it up here. A boomer lifted up the ladder after them. Come on, man. Like, this cat's been doing this shit for years. And I mean, bro, like, you even talking about wanting to get rid of Loving versus Virginia back in the day. Bro, really? Like, look, man, we don't need to get personal, but last time I checked, your wife ain't black. And, like, that affects you too. So I don't get it, man. I don't get it. We're here for you lifting people up, or at least making it, an equal playing field. But we can't even do that, man, because MFers out here ain't doing the shit they supposed to do, man. And I'm annoyed very much at that guy. I mean, bruh, like really, like, it's so alarming. It's so alarming. And then, Tim Scott, look, man, he said he's a Republican. I don't know what he is, but he's talking. Well, he's talking some stuff. Some of it's listenable, most of it ain't, but some of it's listenable. Such as he's like, well, if we're gonna get rid of affirmative action, we need to get rid of legacy. Okay, that's listenable. I can listen to that, But I heard someone talking about one of the I don't remember his name, but one of the presidents of HBCU is like, yo, this is our chance. Basically they're saying that, hey man, we're not doing that no more. So as a HBCU, we need to reach out more to get our people in our schools. And you know what? I ain't mad at that. And because somebody also said, hey, you don't want to keep affirmative action and stuff in colleges and stuff like that. Well, you don't need all black athletes. And you know what? I understand that too. Because in the grand scheme of things, they right. Because if you're not trying to keep it fair for everybody, what makes you think that you can go to Duke and just be like, yeah, we made it fair for Duke, but we trying to get all these black athletes to bring us a national championship, or even worse, Alabama. I mean, come on. As Mo B just joined us today, I mean, he's protecting his little area, to keep those people from Florida out. But I mean, look, affirmative action gone. Why go there? What's going on, Mo B?
Not much, man.
I mean, just talk to the people. It's been a couple weeks. Glad to see you and stuff. And I just, yeah, I shouldn't have done it, man. But I got on my Clarence Thomas tirade, man, because that dude's a clown.
That dude's interesting, man. I'm telling you, if you need to listen to the documentary thing on Slow Burn about him, man. He's an interesting character, man.
I mean, Moco Cowboy brought it up earlier. He lifted up the ladder that he used to get up top, so nobody else, so he can be the only one up there. And I'm just like, dude's crazy, man. But I know you and I have had plenty of conversations about that cat. you know, he thinks he's he thinks that he can go to their cookout and our cookout. But I mean, clearly he's not coming to our cookout
Hey,
anymore.
bro, I used to think that, man, until I actually started like listening to the documentary, man. I got a whole different view of him, man. I don't think he is. I don't think he's tap dancing for white folk like I thought he was, man. Honestly, I think he just hates niggas. I just think I think he hates his own blackness, and not because he hates his blackness. I think he hates.
What it represents.
Yeah, he actually has believed all of the things the white conservative people have said. Like, he takes offense to anyone that says that he got where he is because of affirmative action. And that's why he wants to get rid of affirmative action, because he feels like all his life he's been told that he didn't get anything. He got everything he got because he was black. And the truth of the matter is, it's true. But the thing is, it doesn't mean he wasn't necessarily qualified for some of the things he got.
Correct.
But the only reason Bush gave him the head of the Equal Employment Opportunity was because he was black. The only reason he was considered for Supreme Court justice is because Thurgood Marshall just retired, and conservatives were like, hey, how can we get a conservative dude up there and still not look like we hate black people?
Ding,
Let's find the one black dude that says all the things we like to hear.
Yeah. I mean,
like you said, you're right. He basically just moved the ladder that allowed him to get there, and now he looks down at the rest of the black people and is just like, hey, I made it without help.
And then everybody looks at him like, the fuck?
No. Basically, everybody looks at him with the appropriate response. Negro, please.
Very true.
Like until he met his white wife, he was totally against interracial marriage on public record, saying he was totally against, interracial marriage. Then he found himself his white queen, and he was just like, hey man, this interracial marriage shit, I don't want none of y'all niggas to do it, but that shit worked for me.
I mean, I talked about how you wanted to get rid of Loving versus Virginia, and I'm just like, so if you get rid of that, do you think they'll let you keep yours?
Yeah, because he's special. Like, there's a certain level of narcissism and self-hatred and just sadness that exists with him. And I mean, and I guess the reason I was always so interested in him is because I'm from Savannah, Georgia. Mm-hmm. He grew up in Pinpoint, Georgia, which is like 20 miles, 30 miles south of Savannah. And I mean, when he was about to be elected Supreme Court, I'm in elementary school, and all of my white teachers are just looking at me like, hey, this is a great thing. We got another black Supreme Court justice. And, me 7, 8 at the time, I'm thinking, if you say so, I mean, he black. I mean, and I always wondered why all my older family members was like, yeah, he black, but
I mean, black on the outside.
Yeah, it's like we want to support him, but
he ain't moving right.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like the whole in front of white people, we'll be like, yeah, but at the barbershop, we was like, man, fuck that nigga.
All except for one, because you always gonna have one guy in there talking about, man, he's doing it for us.
Yo, the NAACP didn't even necessarily want to back him as Supreme Court justice.
Oh yeah,
they were in a hard spot because they was like, I mean, we for the betterment of black people, and so it'd be weird if we didn't endorse you, but at the same time, why would we endorse you?
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing is insane, and it's craziness, man, up there at the Supreme Court. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just like,
all I know is his white wife is happy.
Well, he's happy.
Yeah, but he happy because his white queen happy. So if she happy, now if he could have just found a way to get this election overturned, because his wife was one of the main, this election was stolen people.
Oh yeah.
For all y'all who don't know, like Clarence Thomas's wife was beating that drum down. She was willing to die on that hill, and that nigga was willing to die next to his queen.
I mean, I guess when he got married, you kind of sign up for that shit.
Like honestly, black women, like you want a Clarence Thomas on your side. And the reason I say that is because look, if black men supported their black queens the way he has stood by his white woman, I think y'all black women would be happy with us. But at the same time, sometimes you're just not supposed to support stupid.
Yeah.
Do you know his wife had the audacity to one of those women who accused him of the sexual misconduct?
Yeah.
He left a message on her voicemail like 10 years later asking for her to apologize publicly to her husband. What the fuck was she supposed to apologize for?
Man.
Left a voicemail. Like they played the voicemail in the documentary, and I'm just like, holy shit. Like that look, black women, if you like, hey, why do some of these black men go to white women? That's some support for your ass.
I mean,
That's some support for your ass. That his white woman was like, yeah, my husband probably was wrong, but you know what? I'm still gonna ride with this nigga. I'm gonna ride with him so much. I'm gonna call victims and tell them they should publicly apologize to my husband.
I mean,
yes, even though there's several women that worked at the Equal Employment Opportunity Housing that said the exact same stories.
yeah.
I'm still going to ask you to apologize because you made my husband look bad. And Joe Biden, Uncle Joe, you really better hope people don't really start digging into what happened during those trials because nobody caped for Clarence Thomas like Joe Biden did. Oh, that dude was a Clarence Thomas fucking superhero, man. Joe Biden has done so much stuff which totally contradicts like his Charlemagne the God statement, which if you don't support me, you ain't black. Nah, nigga, if I'm black and I know what you've done in the past, maybe that's why I don't support you.
I mean, you ain't wrong. He's done some. It's interesting, right? Because he got a lot of the black vote, but I almost feel like you could have put Elmo up there.
It's default, man. You put anybody in a blue tie up there saying that they were a Democrat and the black vote was going to vote for them more so than your man Donald J.
I mean, you got some out there who are like, Donald J doing right for us. And I'm just like, who is us?
Hey, Ruben, this going to sound like an outlandish thing, but based on like policy stuff, I can honestly see somebody making the argument that Trump has on the surface done more policy things for black people than Biden. I can totally see that argument.
Oh, I can see that argument too. And then after you get
even if it's
shit,
even if it's fraudulent, I can see the argument just based on policy's sake.
I mean, I'll give Trump his due, man. Whatever he did, plus or minus, he did that shit big, man. And he let everybody know he did it. Like when he signed that document about giving the HBCUs money.
HBCUs, man.
I mean, nobody ever read the fucking document about what exactly it does. It's just the fact that it gives some federal money to schools. Well, every school gets federal money. Like, bro.
Hey,
I mean,
look, all I'm saying is Biden rode on the backs of black voters.
Yeah, he's going to do it again, too.
And then as soon as he got in office, you know what we got? An anti-Asian hate bill. I'm just saying, like, you know, black people were all on this controversy, police brutality, mainly black people. We had all the Floyd riot, all that stuff. And what did we get? An anti-Asian hate bill.
Yeah, I mean,
no shade to them, not saying that, you know, we should be, you know, poo-pooing the anti-Asian stuff because they were seeing their fair share of backlash.
Yeah.
But in the greater scheme of things, you got to put a priority on it. And I feel like them niggas need to wait their turn.
Wow. Well, I'll say this. even though it doesn't really affect me, I do appreciate what he did for all the people with the student loan stuff, forgiveness stuff. Like I appreciate that. It does not affect me at all, but I appreciate the fact that
No.
he's at least done something.
Yeah, the thing is, man, I think Biden gets an unfair rap about like not getting anything done. I don't
Nah.
think that's true. I think he was dealt a raw hand, had a lot of stuff going on, and
Yeah.
he just has. But my thing is, the thing that he seems to have fought the hardest for are not the things that he said on the campaign trail he was going to be fighting the hardest for.
And I
Because
think
at the end of the day, Biden is a politician, and
Yeah.
Biden rides with whatever's going to get him the best public outlook. And when all that Asian hate stuff was going on, by him swooping into action and signing that anti-Asian hate bill, like it just made people happy. And the
Yeah.
truth of the matter is, I'm not saying Biden's racist. I'm not saying Biden don't like black people. I'm saying Biden don't want to piss all those white people off. And, you know, saying certain things and came for us doesn't lose him all the moderate voters. But if he really caped hard for black people the way black people caped hard for him, he would lose a lot of his white moderate voters. And he ain't about
Yeah.
to do that.
And I really expect something within the next 6 to 8 months from him of trying to work on getting a black vote. It would
Oh,
not
yeah.
shock me if, you know, we see some stuff happen. So I mean,
And he learned how to play the saxophone right now, so he could jump on an old Arsenio Hall
Yeah.
episode.
I think he's Kenny G'ing it up right now. So I ain't mad at him. You know,
He
however,
gonna be at the NBA playoffs and the layup line, something. He gonna,
oh my God, that's hilarious. But yeah, man, I wanted to kind of, because we've been gone for 2 weeks, so I wanted to make sure that we talk about some of the things that happened since our last time.
man, I've
And,
been
you
gone
know,
for a minute, so
Yeah, you've been going for a hot minute, but it's one of those things where I felt like I need to talk about Clarence Bobo Johnson, Thomas, and stuff like that. I call him Bobo because he a clown. That's right. I said it.
you ain't wrong.
Yeah. So
He's
I mean,
a caricature. I think that's what I think he's a caricature, man.
yeah, we probably need to start talking about like some term limits for these cats too.
Hey, look, man. Basically, actually, what I found in the documentary the most interesting about Clarence Thomas is, at one point in time, that dude had a Malcolm X poster in his room, and then one of his best friends said, like 2 years later, that picture was replaced by a picture of the Rolls Royce. Because basically, somewhere along the line, Clarence Thomas decided, you know what? Fuck black power. That green power is what I want. I want that money.
I mean, black power ain't paid rent.
I mean, maybe he just realized what power was, and money is power.
And
For
the thing
most
about it, man, he's about my complexion. He's about our complexion.
Nah, Clarence Thomas dark, bro.
Is he dark?
Yeah,
I don't
dark.
remember him being dark.
Yeah, he a darky, because growing up in elementary school, those are some of the darky jokes he got. He got a lot of darky jokes.
I don't remember him being.
He got a lot of
black.
black licorice jokes. Got a lot of black magic jokes. Got a lot of patent leather jokes.
He got a lot of where Clarence at, the lights out.
Yeah,
Jokes.
yeah.
I have to look that up. I don't remember him being super black.
Nah, he is. He dark.
Also, now it makes more
And
sense.
I'm surprised he ain't got enough money to try to bleach his skin, so he can go full Uncle Ruckus.
Hey man, Michael Jackson did it.
Yeah, but I feel like he should go full Uncle Ruckus. Just really try to dive into it.
These white people, my friends.
I feel like him and Sammy Sosa should be the same complexion now.
Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it.
Sammy Sosa looked like a white housewife from Orange County.
You stupid. You so dumb.
Hey, if y'all don't believe me, I challenge you. Go Google a picture of Sammy Sosa right now.
You so dumb. Oh my God, you so dumb. But I mean, look, man. All I want is, you know what? I think I'm getting what I want. Now that I think about it, they're showing us who they are. And now we know Clarence Thomas for who he is, 100%. Now we know what to expect. So, yeah, we can't expect a lot of our Supreme Court. Every once in a while, they throw a bone on the other side, but for the most part, they cash them checks and voting terribly. So what are you gonna do?
Ain't Clarence Thomas still on the investigation for not reporting all the trips and stuff that one of his top donors paid for him to go on?
Clearly, it doesn't matter because if he's still in an investigation, he's still got a seat. I mean,
I mean,
sometimes.
I don't think it's gonna get him kicked off, but I mean,
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be mad
they
if he gets suspended.
they gotta report all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how much they make a year, like 250,000 or something.
I mean, the president makes 250,000, so they should make the same as the president.
Yeah, they probably make more.
No, they probably make less, but I mean, that's not what we know where they get their money from. Donors.
Yeah, which is crazy to me. But hey, we're gonna give you money. We want you to vote this way. What? I mean, but hey, that's enough of them. That's enough of them cats. Friend of the show, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Stop it. You so
Sammy
dumb.
Sosa, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
so dumb. You so dumb. That dude's lighter than us, man. Jesus. God bless America. That dude's lighter than us. I mean, because
Real Housewives of Orange County.
he was straight black, man.
He was
at
dark.
least brown.
He was dark with the Jerry curl drip, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
he was definitely Cuban. I don't know what he is there, but he was definitely Cuban. And I say was because that's not Cuban right there. That's just sadness. Hey man, friend of the show, Marjorie Taylor Greene got kicked out of one of her which one is it? What committee is that? Like one of the important committees. She got kicked out last week. I did not share any tears for that. So her crazy ass.
Why she get kicked out?
Because she crazy. I mean, she got kicked out because she's crazy. I mean, there's really no other reason. What?
Didn't she get booted for? I forgot what the house was called. Was it like the House of Freedom or
something like that?
House of Freedom Caucus or something? Like, first of all, it's ironic that she was even in that.
I mean, because she's free. Well, the House of Freedom Caucus, yes. Yes, she got kicked out of the House of Freedom Caucus. They voted to oust her. I mean, they pretty much said, yeah, we're sick of your ass. Like, literally, they just said to her face, they sick of her ass. I mean,
she called the Colorado rep, Lauren Bobbitt,
a bitch.
A little bitch on the House floor. Wow.
Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, because they ain't friends no more, man. They used to be BFF, man. They used to be getting down, tag team, and trying to get Biden out.
Here's the thing, man. The American people need to see real, man. And what I mean by that is, like, when she called her a little bitch on the floor, old girl should have got up and they should have just started scrapping.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They should have started scrapping. Oh, because they such Second Amendment rights. Maybe both of them should have pulled them things out and been like, stand your ground.
Well, that's the interesting thing about that. If they would have done that, they would have broken a federal law because you're not supposed to have any type of firearm in the chamber, which would have been a whole different thing.
Hey, baby, sun's out, guns out, Second Amendment.
I mean, yeah, just not in there. But I mean, I'm pretty sure some of the people be taxing.
I mean, hell, on January 6th, a whole bunch of people walked in with guns. So I mean,
that's very true. That's very true. And the Democratic House member, I think Jasmine something from Texas, she was like, I'm from Texas too, and I got a gun. I mean, what's up? I was like, weak. She was like, I got a gun. I mean,
are you talking about the black lady?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
She be getting down,
and she debunked all those things she said. Like,
yeah. One of these days, man. One of these days. But I think I don't know who's up this year, but they're not talking about it like it's really crazy. But it could flip again, one more time, and Lord knows what would happen with a Democratic president and the Democrats control of both. I mean, that scares me. But at least something we get done, maybe.
If Biden's in charge, ain't nothing getting done. Look, man, there's no shade on Biden, man. Like, Biden might be a cool dude, man, Uncle Joe, but Uncle Joe ain't doing shit, man.
Well,
He got too many friends across the table, man, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, I know everybody was like, you got to be willing to reach across the table, but like it's different when you're reaching across the table, like because you're trying to negotiate something positive, and then when you're reaching across the table with people you go hang out with. Like even though he disagrees policy wise with some of these people, they still his best friends, man. So
yeah,
he ain't never gonna push too hard.
And maybe there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, yes and no. Like it's nothing wrong with that if you don't want to ruffle feathers, but if you ever want anything to change, ain't nothing gonna change. He's status quo. Like in many ways, he's everything that the Trump supporters who defend Trump say he is, which is part of the establishment, the problem with the government anyway. And Biden has been a part of that.
Yeah.
So like even though their solutions ain't better, the problem that they're talking about is real.
But once again, like you always say, I mean, the message might be important, just the message is not who it is. I mean, because you're right in some form or fashion, they are right. Because at least what Trump did was he threw like a monkey wrench into the establishment, and every time he would come close to becoming the establishment, he would do something crazy.
I don't know if Trump did that. I think what Trump did was capitalize on the fact that there are a lot of people that don't like the establishment. I don't think Trump did anything to counteract that. Trump just basically jumped on the bandwagon of a whole bunch of people that felt like the government was out to get them, or the government was doing more harm than good.
I mean, but here's the funny part, right? And this is why I always go to some people like, well, we don't want big federal government. And I get that. You don't want the federal government taking control of your life. Yet, when COVID happened and those stimmy checks came out, you were cashing them. They would go into your account. You may be poor, and you're getting either food assistance or whatever. Yet you hate you hate big government. You can't do both.
I mean, yes, you can, because that's what they want. I mean, like I love it when they say, "Well, I think the state should have the right to decide," because I'm like, yo, if states had the right to decide,
you wouldn't get shit.
There would be like 30 states right now that still have slavery.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and anybody who says no, eventually they would have, man, shut the fuck up. You're absolutely wrong, because slavery was the economy.
Yeah.
So there was no reason for southern states to abolish slavery, because it was their economy, even though it was putting them behind, because the North had mills and used technology, which was more efficient, but the South's labor was free. So they were never going
at least free to them.
Yeah. So they were never like, if we'd have been like, hey, slavery's over, but states, relinquish it at your own speed, there'd still be about 25, 30 states right now where it still have slavery. And they'd be like, hey, man, it just, it doesn't work for our state.
Yeah. So let me tell you an interesting story. So throughout this 2 weeks, like I told everybody earlier, I celebrated the Big 5-0. Was supposed to go to Toronto, but, wildfires and stuff, didn't want to take any chances on that. So me and my little bro ended up going to Dallas. And so, because he wanted to see the Cowboys place. I've been there before, but you know what? Why not? Getting the hell out of here. So we went down there, we stayed the first night in Tennessee. And I always keep wanting to say Memphis, but it was Nashville, Tennessee. Yo, man, I think I saw so many. Let me change that. I saw more than expected interracial relationships in Nashville, Tennessee than I expected to see. It wasn't a ton, but I felt like every time I saw a black person, there was a white person with them. And I was just kind of like, that's interesting. Nothing wrong with that. I just thought that was interesting being in Nashville.
Clarence Thomas would have turned his nose up at it.
Don't
feel right. Don't feel right with these niggas.
So we then got to Dallas, right? Once again, didn't see a ton of black people anywhere. However, we did see a ton of black people in Whataburger. So there you go, right there, and they weren't eating. Well, a couple were eating, but most of them were working. So once again, as we're in Dallas, we still don't see any black people for real. Being honest, so we drove to Georgia because our uncle lives in North Carolina. So we stayed down the extra couple days, extra day. Drove to Georgia, got to Louisiana, stopped at a Walmart. I mean, our black people quota increased immensely because we saw nothing but black people at Walmart. And it was interesting because the white people were working at Walmart, but the black people were blind at Walmart. Usually it's a mix there, but it wasn't. So that was whatever it was. And then we talked about it, we looked at the gas and stuff, and we was like, yo, because we had to go through Mississippi, Alabama to get to Georgia. We had a small discussion. We're not stopping in Alabama. We're not taking no chances. Because, why do that to yourself? So of course we did that. We rode through. We didn't stop in Mississippi or Alabama because you know what? I ain't saying they lynching people still. I'm just saying we're not giving people no opportunities.
I'm just saying, what would you have stopped there for? What were you gonna go see?
Well, I mean, like if it was gas or something like that, we made sure we were filled up before we left Louisiana and all that. So there was absolutely no reason to stop. And if we had to urinate, we held it till we got to Georgia. So got to Georgia, once again, Atlanta's nice. Everything's all the roads are being repaired, just like normal every time I go to Georgia. Because Lord knows they can't do anything. Also, yo, man, can the southern states put money into their roads? The interstate is horrible. I didn't really understand how horrible it was until you drive it. The roads are terrible. I almost kissed the Virginia roads here, man, because they're in much better shape. But then again, they don't pay taxes. So I guess that's what happens. Shit don't be working no more.
Who don't pay taxes? Georgia?
Georgia was fine.
I'm about to say, what you talking about, Georgia?
Mississippi, Alabama, we passed by Tuscaloosa. Gave a good wave at Sabin, making sure the line was straight down there. They did give me one. There was one like billboard that said something about Alabama and their national championships. I was like, they gave me one. So, but yeah, man, it's just it's interesting. You go down south, you don't see no damn black people.
Which is crazy because like they have some of the largest populations of them. So
I mean, other than Louisiana, and they were out in 404.
like Mississippi is like almost 50% of the population. But
yeah, but once again, Mississippi, Alabama, those weren't options to stop. I mean, because we won't pack and stuff, so because I ain't about to make any attempts. But yeah, man, it's real interesting, man. How you think there would be black people and stuff, and there weren't. And then of course, my little brother hadn't seen Django Unchained, so we talked a little bit about that. It was on VH1 or something, maybe BET. So of course, every other word from Samuel Jackson was bleeped out.
Very, very overrated movie in my opinion. But
I mean, the only thing I'll say is everybody's giving a whole bunch of shit about the N word being used. My thing is, if you don't use the N word,
who directed that movie again?
Oh, Quentin Tarantino.
Exactly. We know how much that nigga loves the word nigga. So I'm just saying, like, I get it, the context of the times as well, but I mean, let's not act like Tarantino ain't never jumped at the idea of being able to put nigga in his script.
I mean, I'm not gonna say here disagree with that, but I mean, out of the 160 sometimes it was said, I mean, Samuel Jackson probably dropped about 50 by himself. That's all I'm saying. So he had his fair share.
Hey, DiCaprio felt real comfortable saying that word.
He did. He felt very uncomfortable saying that.
He was either a great actor or he was just like, I've been waiting for this my whole life.
No, he felt actually in some of the stuff he felt very uncomfortable.
Well,
like he almost turned the role down because of it.
Ruben, he's an actor.
Okay.
So you mean you don't think he could have acted like he felt uncomfortable? and then as soon as they said action, he was like, I've been waiting for this moment. and I'm not saying like Leo's a racist, but I've just found in my experience around a lot of white people, they have been hoping to be able to say nigga. Like, not even in a derogatory way. For some reason, white people just feel like that is, I think it is white men don't like being told what they can't do. Because white people always do the whole, well, I can't say the N-word and y'all can. And it's just like, I forgot what movie it was, but I can't even remember the black actor. But the dude was like, well, we can't say the N-word, and rappers say it all the time. And the black guy said, no, go ahead and say it. And he was like, what? He was like, no, go ahead and say it. He was like, no, you're being a bit hypocritical. He's like, no, I'm saying, go ahead and say it. I'll say it with you. I'll say it with you. Nick. and then they went to commercial break. All right, we're going to go take a moment. He's like, no, go ahead and say it.
Jesus.
Sure you can. It's a free country.
You know, and I would say his character didn't say it very much at all. You know. But I think you know, while we talk about how big slavery was, but then to go down there, man, and maybe because we didn't stop and look around, but yeah, man, I just, not that I felt uncomfortable stopping in Mississippi or Alabama, but I felt more uncomfortable at nighttime stopping in Mississippi and Alabama. I mean, it's only two of us. You know, unless he was packing, which he probably wasn't. It's just what, you know, sometimes you gotta not, you gotta, some things are just worth passing by, I would say, you know. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting trip though. I expect to see more black people in Dallas. You know, didn't see a lot of black people in Dallas.
Why?
Why did I expect to see black people in Dallas?
Why'd you expect to see a lot of black people in Dallas?
I expected to see more than we saw.
Okay.
I mean, we probably saw 10 black people.
Did y'all go all over the place, or did y'all go to like one area of Dallas?
Well, I mean, we went to a couple places in Dallas, but we didn't like tour Dallas. Hell no. But I mean, like, there were 3 people at the Dallas Stadium when we took our tour, which was funny. And of course, one of them was a Dallas Cowboys fan. I was just like,
why would they not be? Like,
it's like, you're doing us a disservice. Nah, that place is pretty phenomenal. So it's like, you don't have to be a Cowboys fan to
well,
go.
I get that, but why is it so surprising that it would be a Cowboys fan?
Oh no, it's just, I'm not a fan. Like, yeah. You know, I don't know. Yeah. It's like the 3 black people there. Of course, one was a Cowboys fan. Like, really? But they weren't too obnoxious. I will say that. But yeah, man. I mean, we had a whole, you know, it's been hot as hell the last 2 weeks. Thunderstorms coming out the woodwork. You know, it's been a little crazy, man. It's been a little crazy. So I think it's time for a little bit of Crazy World. You will enjoy this one. California man gets prison for nearly $9 million phony cow manure to green energy investment scheme. So basically, this dude's going to prison for running a cow manure to green energy scheme. And basically, he said that I can turn cow manure to green energy. And all these people invested in it. And he went to a couple of places where it would break down the biodegradable material and then turn it into methane. And then they would sell the methane. And, you know, when they sell the methane, they will receive 6% of the net profits and tax incentives. So he got enough people to, you know, equal about $9 million. And then if one felt a little skeptical, he gave them back their money from the other people he stole from. And stuff like that.
It was a Ponzi scheme.
Kind of. It's a shitty one.
I feel like that's the definition of Ponzi scheme, man. You takes the next person's money to give to the person you just promised the money to.
Yeah, like some people even sued him. And
that's what usually happens in a Ponzi scheme.
And they won, so he gave him that money, but he didn't get everybody. And then he moved to Sheridan, Montana, and assumed a new identity before he was arrested. So he went to the middle of absolutely nowhere, became somebody else, and the government found his ass. Like, what? I don't understand. I guess he's like, fuck it, man. I'm living off the grid. I'm taking this money, living off the grid. But yeah, man, shit the methane. I guess it almost worked until he make no money.
I mean, they usually don't in Ponzi schemes.
Yeah, he spent it on himself buying up land, a custom home, and a new Dodge Ram pickup. I mean,
Priorities, man.
especially that Dodge Ram pickup, man. Super priorities.
Like a rock, man.
And the second one, Australian man plans enhanced games for doping athletes. So this dude from Australia is going to create his own Olympics with people. So basically, if you dope, if you use a type of performance enhancing drugs, you can still race in his Olympics.
Probably be more entertaining.
I guess it has its own website and everything, and it says, and it shows some dude who's the fastest man in the world. Says he's already breaking Usain Bolt's 100-meter record. He has unlocked his body's true athletic potential, but the world isn't ready for him. I mean, nah, man. He used steroids and all that shit. I mean,
steroids and all that shit. He might just use human growth hormone. So
that too. And the 2024 Enhanced Games, it accuses the International Olympic Committee of vilifying enhanced athletes. It lists enhanced would record world record rejected by the IOC. Yeah, because he's like, yeah, man, they'll come and break all these records. I mean, what record? None of this shit's gonna count for anything. You just gotta have a whole bunch of doped up dudes see who's the fastest and the best doped up dude.
I mean, look.
I mean, I guess there's some
as just a resident cynic, like there's a lot of Olympic records right now that happened by doped up dudes. They just didn't get caught. I mean, they just didn't get caught. Like,
yeah.
Carl Lewis comes out and talks about being mad about people doping, and it's like, and Carl Lewis, we thought you were doping too, and there's actually some significant evidence that he probably was, but he didn't get caught. Cool, just like when people go, do you think The Rock did steroids? And everybody goes, no, he just worked out hard. No, y'all don't remember that whole 7-month reign where he wrestled with that black shirt on? That's because he had to have surgery on his man boobs because he had started growing the titties because he had been taking steroids. I mean, we know what it is. Like, and the thing is, does that mean he didn't work hard? No. Like, that's what I hate about the misconception of steroids.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you're taking the easy way out. No, there's nothing easy about that, because you don't just inject yourself with steroids and the next day you have 20-inch pythons. No, you just work out harder because your body can recover. Those dudes who take steroids work out 4 times harder than everybody else because they can, because their body can actually recover. But it doesn't mean that they're taking the easy way out. They're just taking the not natural way out.
Mogul Cowboy said all the fastest women from the 80s. What are the odds?
And I was just about to point that out. Yes, like all those track and field records that were set in the 80s are still there. Although every other form of evolution shows that the athletes are bigger, faster, and stronger now, somehow all of those track and field records are from the 80s. Nah, I'm sure they weren't using steroids. I mean, and look, I'm not accusing all of them of it, but I mean, my thing is, if they were, I don't care. Like, I'm one of those people that when people talk about the baseball steroid era, I'm just like, look, I think it's bullshit that they keep people out of the Hall of Fame for that, because it's like, well, if you ever were suspected of it, like, yo, we have so much evidence to suggest between the 80s and the 90s,
everybody was doing shit.
Almost everybody was doing it. So they were setting records against other people who were doing steroids. So, I mean, just leave everybody out. So basically, I feel like, other than the exception of a few people, from anybody who played baseball in the 80s and 90s, just don't put them in the Hall of Fame.
So what is it going to take to get Barry Bonds in there?
Nothing. He's never getting in. Never getting in. The greatest baseball player I have ever seen in my life will never be in the Hall of Fame. And I would make an argument that he is the greatest baseball player to ever play. Never make the Hall of Fame.
I mean, and you know what? Here's a big thing about
It's
that.
either him or his uncle. You know what I'm saying? Or his godfather. Like either him or Willie Mays to me are the best baseball players to ever play. And Barry Bonds will never get in the Hall of Fame.
What about Willie Mays Hayes?
Fictitious people don't count. That's like putting Sylvester Stallone in the boxing Hall of Fame, which I think he actually is. But
Rocky is not in there, man. Is Rocky Balboa in the boxing?
I
Hall of
don't
Fame?
know, man. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Jesus Christ. I mean, good look. If Rocky Balboa is in the boxing Hall of Fame, I think you put Willie Mays Hayes in the baseball Hall of Fame. I mean, you got some
He
other,
stole 100 bases.
yeah. I mean,
Sylvester Stallone was officially introduced into the International Boxing Hall of Fame
Jesus
June
Christ.
12, 2011. I thought he was. I actually thought he was.
you hear it here first. I'm officially putting in a document for Willie Mays Hayes to get to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Because if you got dudes like Craig Biggio and Jeff Bagwell in the Baseball Hall of Fame, then damn it, Willie Mays Hayes deserves to be in there.
Why? He stole 100 bases one fictitious season. We don't know what he did after that.
Hey. Who else stole 100 bases in a season?
Ricky
Nobody.
Henderson, Tim Raines. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people who actually have.
But if they did it, then he deserves to be in there too. That's all I'm saying.
But they did more than just one. Never. You're right. Willie Mays Hayes, get him in there.
As
Put
far as
Wild
we
Thing in
know.
there too.
Nah, he won't that great. I mean, you put his music in there.
He ain't like Vaughn, man.
I mean, he didn't have enough in his pitch, man. I'm just saying.
Willie Mays batted like 240 and had 100 stolen bases, and you ready to put him in?
Willie Mays Hayes, get it right, sir.
Willie Mays Hayes batted like 246.
All I'm saying is Rocky Balboa is in the Boxing Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
think
because
that's
he was a champ. He was a
I'm a
champ.
fictitious movie.
Willie Mays Hayes didn't even win the World Series. They just won the pennant.
Hey, but you don't know if they won the World Series because the movie went off. That's all I'm saying.
When the second one came out, they didn't say they were World Series champions.
I mean, but you can't put that one in there. You got to put the Passenger 57 Wesley Snipes up in there. Hey man, we got to choose because
Look, we can't just be caping for black people right now, right? That's what's happening right now. You just caping for the black.
I'm just caping for Willie Mays Hayes. That's all I'm caping for. I mean, they had two black people play him, but if you got to pick one, you got to pick the Snipes one, Passenger 57, baby.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
All right.
I'm saying.
Not getting into this with you anymore. You win. Yeah, you win.
All right. What you got for us today?
You win. That's what I got.
Really? That's all we got?
You're the winner.
I didn't win anything.
Hey man, since we talked about Ponzi schemes, have you actually seen? Well, no, because you're one of those people that say you don't do Netflix.
I don't.
They got a Bernie Madoff documentary, and to actually hear about what the scheme was and how he got caught, and
Is it sad?
no, it's not sad. What do you mean by sad?
Is it sad that the scheme was stupid and it was sad that he got the way he got caught?
No, what was sad
Okay.
about it is the government helped him by being incompetent.
Shocker.
Like they investigated him like 3 times, which bogus investigations. Like they could have caught this dude 6 years before they actually did, and they didn't because either somebody didn't do their job one time, somebody just didn't make a phone call, like literally a phone call, shuts the whole thing down. If it wasn't for the housing market crash, he would have never got caught. The housing market crash just did him in
Yeah.
because everybody tried to start pulling the money from him and he didn't have it.
I mean, everybody
But literally every time they supposedly investigated him, when they didn't do their job with the investigation and then people found out that he had been investigated, it just gave more people more belief and faith that he was doing things the right way. So it almost became like advertising for him. So then more people started giving him money.
I mean, because they talked about that in what is it, the Good Guys?
Bro,
Yep.
it's the dumbest Ponzi scheme ever. And the reason I say it's the dumbest because they say most Ponzi schemes, an investor invests their money and they are actually investing the money. They're just making bad investments. So then they lie about it to get more money.
Yeah.
His Ponzi scheme was give me your money, I'll invest it. And then he never invested it. But then he would send them fake reports about things he was investing in to make them feel like their money was growing.
That's brilliant.
So he got $18 billion from people.
Billion with a B?
Billion with a B. But all those people with the 18 billion he got from them, he always told people he was getting a profit. So based on all his clients thought he had made 70 billion.
All he made was 18.
He never made any money. He just had 18 billion that they gave him. And then he would send fake reports of things he was investing. They made a system that mimicked what the NASDAQ did. So then he could fake like he did investments from yesterday's investment. So basically, he always knew what stock went up and what stock went down because he was basing it on yesterday. So then he could say he invested in anything that did well that day, the day before.
That's brilliant.
So every week, his investors like, this dude is brilliant. He never loses. It's like he magically knows what the market's going to do. Because
when they wanted their money back, he had.
Yeah, when the housing market crashed, everybody wanted their money back, and he had people asking for like up to $3 billion back from him, and he only had 300 million. And he was like, "Oh shit, y'all got me."
How do you spend $18 billion?
And then his sons, because he was all right. So what would happen is somebody would give him money.
Yeah,
he was investing, and then another person would give him money. So he'd been taking people's money since like the 80s. So then when some people would be like, "Hey, I've made this money. Hey, let me pull some of this money out." All right. If you pull the money out, he had to get the money from somewhere. So he would take the money that somebody had given him and then give it to that person.
Yeah.
All the time, he had bought a building in New York and he had yachts and money. So he was living the dream.
He did everything but go to a non-extradition country.
And you know who had to turn him in? His sons.
Why?
His two sons. Because he was trying to, when he realized the jig was up, he kind of finally told his sons, who also worked at the company but had no idea this was going on. He told them what was up, and he was like, "Yo, I'm just trying to give money back to like the people who've been with me from the beginning. I only got 300 million, but I'm trying to." Well, no, not like them, but just like other people. So then his sons were so mad at him, they wouldn't talk to a lawyer, and the lawyer was like, "Well, now that you know this has happened, unless you turn him in, you go down with him."
And I was like, "Fuck that."
So his sons turned him in and then disowned him. Like his ashes. Because he's Jewish, which they don't believe in cremation, but they totally did away with him. So when he died in prison, his body got cremated, ashes got put in a vase, and it's sitting in the lawyer's office because the family never claimed it.
That's cold. That's cold.
I mean, it would be cold, but both his sons are dead now anyway.
Oh, well.
One of them committed suicide, and one of them died, I think, of cancer.
Oh.
And then the mom was living out of her Honda Civic for a while.
Oh. Because I guess they went completely broke.
All that money was gone. And then the sad thing was like, yo, people who had been invested. So all this investment money is supposed to be insured. Well, the insurance is supposed to guarantee $500,000 for anything losses. But it was so many investments. If the person you invest with doesn't actually make your investments.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the insurance company that insures all of them doesn't have enough money to pay all these people back. They would have went bankrupt trying to pay all these people back. So what they did is they hired a lawyer to then go back and then go through all of the records, and anybody who had kind of made a profit and pulled money off of them, they went and asked for the money back. So if you had been investing with Bernie since the 80s, and you know every time he told you you had made a profit of like 50,000, 60,000 that year, and you just pulled it out to do something else, well, in 2008, some dude called you and was like, hey, our records show that you invested, say, $1 million, but you pulled out over 4 million. So we need that 3 million back.
Can they do that?
Absolutely they can. And they did it.
Oh shit. That's
So people were having to pay money back that they probably had already spent to try to pay back the other people who had lost everything, all because the insurance company that's supposed to protect you from it basically was like, we can't afford to do it. So instead of paying back the billions that they would have had to pay these people, they paid this one lawyer and his law firm almost $1 billion to try to recoup whatever money they could. So this lawyer had to go to these people who had already been victimized and then ask them for money back. And he got rich off of it. The whole thing just is like,
they
man,
said no.
then you go to jail. They can pull the money from you, take all your assets, everything.
Damn, that's foul. Damn, Madoff, you fucked up a lot of people. I'm glad I wasn't involved in that shit.
Yo, there were people, one dude committed suicide. They had an estimation that like there was so much cartel money in his investments.
Was
Like,
that why he died in jail?
Well, maybe. But there was one dude overseas because there was more money invested in Europe than America.
Oh my god.
So there was a dude in Europe who basically was like, they were like, what if you're wrong? Because the one dude, there's another investor in America from like 2001. He had been sending letters to the government that all this was a Ponzi scheme. Since 2001, he had been sending letters. Like he was almost like the hate and snitch because his company was asking him to come up with a plan that worked like Bernie's. And he was like, well, Bernie's plan is bullshit. And so he had been literally going to the government for like 6 years. And they had basically just did nothing.
Told him to kick rocks.
Yeah, so one of the dudes that invested in Bernie, they kept going to that dude because they were like friends. They were like, yo, man, what if you're wrong about Bernie? And then dude basically said, I'm dead because all of my money, all of my family's money, all of my investors' money, which some of that money is cartel money, all are in this. So if I'm wrong, I'm dead. 11 days after Bernie was arrested, he committed suicide in his own office.
Yeah, because they were going to kill him.
He was dead.
Yeah, you can't.
It was sad, man. They said he committed suicide. He slit his wrist and put his wrist over the trash can so his cleaning person wouldn't have to clean up his blood.
Oh no!
You know how tragic that was when they said, yeah, he slit his wrist
Oh,
and sat at his desk so he would bleed out in the trash can so his cleaning person wouldn't have to clean.
well, that's nice of him.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's tragic as fuck, man.
Yeah, it is. Damn, Madoff.
So Bernie Madoff is basically a prime example of it's good to be white, man. This dude was was Money magazines, like there's all this evidence that pointed to the fact that this was complete bullshit, but he was never questioned because he had been around the game for a long time. He was a white dude, and everybody was just like, "Hey, it's Bernie, baby. He know what he doing."
Yeah.
At one point in time, they said, what, 10% of NASDAQ money was tied up in Bernie Madoff? 10%. Bruh. Housing market crash, the only reason he got caught. No housing market crash. This dude running it up right now still, probably.
I mean, damn.
It's the most interesting documentary I ever watched on Netflix, man.
Did Bobby Bonilla come up?
I mean, maybe because Bobby Bonilla still getting paid. I hope he won't invest in that $1 million he get every year in Bernie. Because he'd be mad as shit. Like, damn, I thought I was doing it.
How much longer does he have for that?
I think
That's got to be up soon.
I think it's like 2026 or something like that. So it's almost up. I think we got like 2 or 3 more Bobby Bonilla days.
I mean,
The worst contract in baseball history.
oh no. It continues to 2035.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This dude makes $1 million.
He will be 1.19 million. He will be 72 when the payments stop.
Hey,
Greatest contract.
Bobby Bonilla ain't in the Hall of Fame, but he should be just for that contract. That contract.
Him or his agent. If his agent did
it,
it,
both.
Yeah,
they should get inducted. He should have a statue with him and his agent beside him, smiling like this, like we did that shit.
Got you, bitches.
And he shouldn't even have a baseball emblem on his hat. It should just be a dollar sign.
Outside.
A dollar sign.
That'd be awesome. That would be so awesome. Oh my god. So, what else on your mind, man?
That's it, man. I talked all about Bernie Madoff, so I'm not going to talk about anything else, man. Oh, I did watch the BET Awards, and
What?
no, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of like what I want to say. Like Busta Rhymes got honored, and I thought it was dope that Busta Rhymes got honored.
Yeah.
Um,
Lifetime Achievement Award, right?
yeah, I thought Busta Rhymes' speech was amazing because he kind of took shots at Charlie
Charlie who?
Brown.
Oh wow.
He kind of took a shot at Charlie.
I think Charlie deserves that shot.
Yeah, but the way he did it was like graceful because he was like, "Yeah, I was the youngest member of Leaders with the New School, Leaders of New School," and he was like, "I was the youngest, and I was also the first to have a child." And he was like, "And then when they kicked me out the group, because they did kick me out the group, you know what I'm saying? I had 5 more kids." And he was just like, I ain't know what I was gonna do, so I just lived in the studio. He said, I knew all the people from the studio, so I would call the studio people, and I would see who was gonna be there that night, and I would go up to the studio and act like I had left something at the studio because I knew everybody knew me. And he was like, so I dap him up. He said I always have like some weed and the slowest burning blunt ever. He said because once you start passing that blunt around, you invest it. And he said I'd hear the beat that they were working on, and he said by the time the blunt got back to me, I'd already have 16 bars. And he was like, that's why it was 3 years before you heard me from Leaders with the New School before I had my own album. But he was like, in that 3-year window, I basically bankrolled the features. He's like, I was just featured on everybody's track because I would always show up to the studio. And he said I would give him 16 and I'd make sure that the song didn't sound right unless you had that rile on it. And I was like, man. But I'm like, he threw that shot at Charlie. Like, yeah, they did kick me out. But he's like, when I started getting them 30,000, 20,000 feature checks and I ain't have to split it, I was like, hey, this shit might work.
God. Where's Charlie Brown now?
Somewhere probably being salty. You know what I'm saying? He probably heard that BET Award John was salty as hell.
I mean, he thought he was the shit in Leaders in the School. He wasn't even like number 3. I'm not saying he was the worst person in Leaders. I'm just saying he the worst.
First of all, the fact that he had a lyric, "Who's that Brown?" Some may I say, call me Charlie. What? Like, bro, no, he was the worst in the group, man. It's okay to say it, man. It is okay to say it. It might have been his group. Like, look, if the best thing we can say about Charlie Brown is he recognized talent, you know what I'm saying? He found Busta, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's no shade in that. Like, hey, I ain't that talented, so I'm gonna find this talented brother. But the problem is he had an ego. You can't find talent and then have an ego. You gotta find talent and ride that bitch, ride that wave.
So are you saying that Dinko D was better than Charlie Brown?
I'm saying he won't worse. I'm saying he wasn't worse.
Shade throw.
Just say he wasn't worse. And think about how loyal Busta is to people. Like the person that he did his first solo album with has changed record label 3 times, and Busta has followed that lady on all 3 labels. Split Star has been around on every single Busta project. So if Charlie Brown would have just been cool with the idea that Busta was blowing up, Charlie might be in the background. Charlie might be a producer. Like Charlie might look, Charlie could have did it. It's just he was young and he had an ego. And the thing is, if you're gonna have an ego, you gotta have talent too. You can't have ego and no talent.
No.
And I'm not saying he ain't have no talent. I just told you what his talent was. He found another talented nigga. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say he had a damn talent.
I'm gonna disagree because he found Busta.
I mean, I'm talking about rapper talent.
Once again, that wasn't his talent, but his talent was finding people. I mean, think about it. Look, was Master P a great rapper? No. No, but we say he had a talent because he did something record label wise.
Yeah. That
was innovative. So, like, look, you can be talented. Don't have to be. You got to be a rapper to be talented. Like his talent could have been, I found Busta Rhymes, and when Busta got hot, I took a back seat to Busta and just started being like, yo, I'm gonna help you navigate, I'm gonna help you move. Like Nah, but he gonna be like, hey, people ain't here to see you. They here to see all of us. And Busta's probably looking at him like, nigga, ain't nobody asked you to be on no feature. Ain't nobody asked you to be on no remix. Jungle Brothers never called you.
Not at all. You know, man, and think about it this way. Let's be real. Charlie Brown, you got traded out for Spliff Star. Who the fuck is Spliff Star? Like,
You know
we
what?
know who he is.
Loyal.
But-
That's what
Yeah,
Spliff Star is.
I
Loyal.
mean, but like I would say Spliff Star and the talent level is either about the same.
Yeah, I would say Spliff Star is more talented because he realized what his talented role was. I am the hype man.
Exactly.
He is the most, like, besides Flavor Flav, is there a more recognizable hype man for anyone?
That's a very good question.
Is there a more recognizable hype man than Spliff Star?
Probably Diddy.
See, but I can't call Diddy a hype man because he was also the owner of the record label.
Yeah, but man, come on, man.
Once again, I know what you're saying. You're saying his
Take
role
that,
in a
take
lot of
that.
those. I get what you're saying, but Diddy is known for other things too. What else is Spliff known for?
Not a damn thing.
Exactly.
I mean,
So
he barely known for that.
He is the most recognizable hype man in hip hop.
Oh wow.
It's Flavor Flav, then Spliff.
Flavor Flav is the goat.
Once again, I put him up there. It's Flavor Flav, then Spliff. But think about, we got 50 years of hip hop.
Are we
And
talking
you're
about
the second most noticeable hype man of all time
what about Rampage? Rampage was the hype man for a bit.
for
Yeah.
a bit. Spliff
Okay.
has been around the entire time. When you know, if you go to see a Busta concert, you know who gonna be there? Spliff. Busta Rhymes gonna be in your video. You know who gonna be there? Spliff.
I got another one who might be more than number 2, only because he died. He's probably not gonna be number 2, and that's Eminem's boy, Proof. What's his name? Proof. He was M's hype man.
He
until
was.
passed away.
And even if he hadn't passed away, would not have surpassed. And let me tell you why. Spliff's been around longer. And
But I'm saying if he stayed, if he had
Spliff
lived,
would have still been around longer.
yeah, but I don't know.
And I'm telling you, Spliff's been around longer. And even though Proof was Eminem's hype man on stage, Proof on every one of Eminem's videos, Proof on every Eminem show. Spliff is in everything.
That's true. he played his position strong.
They are a package deal. You know, when you get Bust, you get Spliff.
Hey, I mean, I can't deny that.
Second most recognizable hype man in hip hop history.
That's funny you said most recognizable because half these motherfuckers don't know who Split Star is.
No. Even if they don't know who he is, when you see him, you know that's Busta's hype man. Even if you don't know his name.
Okay, I give you that. Buster, what it is right now? Yeah, Charlie Brown didn't make no damn money. Did he even come out with a CD?
Who would have wanted it?
Who's that Brown?
And I don't look, man. I'm not trying to diss somebody that does something that I can't do, because I mean he's a better rapper than me, but that's not saying much. But
I was gonna say
that's not saying much. But what I'm saying is like, yo, like his ego, man. Ego just got in the way, man. Like if there's anybody that should have been trying to mend the group together, it should have been him.
Yeah,
It shouldn't have been him being mad that people wanted Busta.
He
It's
should have
just like,
rolled that shit out until the wheels fell off.
it's just like when I heard Prize be interviewed about the Fugees, and he was just talking about, well, you know, some things, ego. And I'm like, look, Prize, you are the least talented in the group. Your job should have been mending fences. You should have had Lauren on one side and Wyclef on the other side. You should be like, hey, we can make this work.
You should have pan trapped that shit.
Yeah, you should be like, we could make this work because I need to work.
Oh, that's
I'm in
hilarious.
Ghetto Superstar. That's the only song without you niggas that I'm known for.
Ghetto Superstar. It is known because of Maya, not because of him.
Exactly. Maya and ODB. Like it's his song, but
And
I'm
I'll
not
be
even
real.
known for it.
Now, I'll be real. I forgot ODB was up in that motherfucker. Cause
I
all I
did.
can remember is Maya's hook. That's really all I can
Well, at
remember.
the time, I think that was right afterwards. I was on my Free Dirty campaign, so
Free Dirty.
yeah, Free Dirty.
Another dude who did amazing on TV and went too soon. When that dude went and got his welfare check on MTV.
Everything that's wrong about black people and everything that I love about black people all rolled into one
clip.
person. Goes to get his check
In a
in
limo.
limousine,
In a
and then the
limo.
whole time he's like, "Who wouldn't take it? It's free money." Like the concept that it's taxpayer dollars completely above him. Like
It's-
fuck that. It's free money.
Especially when he's doing well with Woo. And he's making money with Woo. You don't why
we
you
don't know.
all Woo
We don't
fans?
know how much money he was making because
Yeah,
back
but
in
it
the
was-
day, them contracts were not always that lucrative for everybody.
Yeah, but
Once again, it's free money.
who did
We
he
gotta
take?
end this show. We gotta end this show. God.
Oh, another thing. So it's interesting you brought that up. Yo, man, I watched the Murder Inc. story. It's like 5 episodes. That in itself is also
Pretty interesting.
Some amazing shit, man. Like, I mean, I for some reason I didn't realize Ja Rule went to jail.
Yeah, and came out super swole.
Yeah, I don't know. And then apparently Ashanti and what's his face had a relationship.
Ooh, Irv?
Yeah, even though as Charlamagne the God says, the only time I heard that was from Irv. I was like, well, I don't think Ashanti's out here talking about she having sex with Fabio. I mean, you say what you want.
It's just not a good look. Well, not even because he's fat. It's just not a good look because then it makes it look like that she slept her way into a deal. And why would she want to admit that? Even if it's true, why
Yeah.
would she come out and admit it? And
Yeah.
I'm not saying it is true. I'm just saying if it was, why would she admit to it?
And she was the only one from Murder Inc. who would not be interviewed for the special. They
Why
put up
would
there,
she be? She's
Sure.
trying to separate herself from that.
which is crazy, right? But I mean, it was a good story. It's 5 hours, 5 episodes. I mean, I guess I didn't realize you were stopped in Georgia. I don't know, man. It might have to be South Carolina because Georgia getting stupid down there. But yeah, man. I mean, all I'm gonna say, all these documentaries or all this stuff coming out. Hey, we need to watch that shit, man, because there's a lot of interesting stuff that comes from it. Like I understand, like the whole court case with Irv Gotti and his brother. I did not realize. I realized he was found innocent, but for some reason I didn't think. Well, the government froze all his money.
Froze all his
shit.
assets.
So after he won, they unfroze it, but he had millions of dollars of legal fees to pay.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So he ended up broke. And I didn't know he was that TV show on BET called Tales?
Yeah.
That's him. That's Irv Gotti. I didn't even know it. So yeah, he's back up on that. So doing other stuff. But yeah, man.
I don't know if it's not in the documentary, but here's another Irv Gotti fact that a lot of people don't know. You know who's responsible for Pitbull? Irv Gotti.
How so?
Pitbull was doing his freestyle thing, and the first person to actually give Pitbull like some love was Irv, and Irv was like, "Yo, man, yeah, you can rap, but rapping don't sell songs. You got to get a hook, you got to get a gimmick." And Pitbull was like, "Yeah." That's when he started like putting together songs and trying to have hooks, because he's like, before he was just a dude that would just battle rap, just go and rap. And he's like, Irv was the first person who was like, "Hey, I know a lot of dudes that can rap. Can you make a song? I need you to make a song." And you start making songs.
Okay.
And Mr. 305 Pitbull basically like, "Yo, Irv Gotti is the person that basically introduced me to the fact that I make songs."
I mean, Irv Gotti, man, smart dude, man, smart dude.
Not an
Yeah.
idiot. Not an idiot.
Not at all. Ja Rule and that Fire Fest, yeah, yes. But that's a story for another day. That's also a good documentary too. It's kind of fucked up, but it's a good documentary. But yeah, so that's why I'm saying, hey, watch some documentaries about just hip hop and all that. educate yourselves, everybody. Educate yourself. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on this episode of 5 Minute Warning. Appreciate Mo B for being here. AG, hopefully we'll see him back next week. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell somebody about us. Once again, Sunday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are here, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. Our ass gonna be here to try to just, give you something different to listen to. And once, of course, thank everybody in the chat. Thank everybody who listened to us. And thank everybody who will be listening to us on the podcast. Man, you know what we do. We will see you again next Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace, hair grease. Damn it.
You forgot your own clothes.
I forgot my own closing.
It's been that long.
Peace, hair grease. Damn it, I forgot the middle one.
Wow.
This
This is you, man.
I mean,
I thought you was trying to switch it up or something, man.
nah. Oh. Peace, hair grease. So, I done fucked it up. I don't remember what it is now. We're just going to end up with deuces.
Damn shame.
I know, it's sad.
Email us at 5minutewarning19@gmail.com. And also leave comments on Facebook and Twitch. Search 5 Minute Warning. Contact us on Twitter at AG_FMW podcast, at Newsman25, at FMW 2019. Contact us on Instagram, Moby 5 Minute Warning, AG_5 Minute Warning, Newsman25. You can listen to the podcast at Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of
The 5 Minute Warning.
And it's peace, love, hair grease, soul, and deuces.